Alright, so a couple days ago I hosted a live stream with Crea-ture Studios and they showcased the next update for session 0.0.0.6. They went over all the stuff that we can expect to see in the next update, and they talked a little bit about what their plans are going to be. As you can see right here, there's quite a few things different already. In this video I'm going to just summarize everything that was in that live stream, and for those that want to watch the full 3-hour live stream, I'll leave the link in the description. The most important information from that live stream is from the timestamp 4 minutes and 30 seconds until about 1 hour and 45, so you don't actually have to watch the full 3 hours. So the one detail that everybody wants to know, when is it going to be released? Their goal was to have it out before the end of 2020, but due to some issues, they decided to hold on to it just a little bit longer so that they can release it on PC and on Xbox at the exact same time. However, the backers of the Kickstarter from way back in 2017 have a test build of this update so that we can give them feedback and help them locate some issues. So if you look at the bottom of the screen, it says Kickstarter backer dev build. This won't be for every backer. You had to have backed at a certain tier, so it's going to be half cab and higher. So if you pledged more than $40, you'll be able to get this code. So for the half cab tier, right down here, it says download development and prototype builds, PC only. So unfortunately, for you Xbox players that pledge this or more, it's not going to be for Xbox. So if you pledge the Tre Flip or the early grab or the sponsor me, any of these other ones, you'll be getting this build. They do want to get this update out as fast as possible without rushing things, of course. So they want to try to get it for early 2021. So most of you know that they've been reworking all the physics for this update. Complete physics overhaul. So tricks are looking a lot smoother. Goofy skating did get a little bit of fixes, but they haven't completely implemented Goofy yet. They still have to make sure regular and fakie work the way that they want them to, and then they can mirror everything. But if you notice right now, I went into Goofy, and the board is no longer backwards. It's going to be like the correct way. So you can load in with your board the correct way. I don't skate Goofy much, so I'm not going to notice too much of a difference, but you guys probably will. So they got nollie hard flip, got nollie inward heel. So some of the tricks that weren't working that well with Goofy were fixed. Flip tricks aren't the only things that got reworked. Grinds also got reworked. So these grinds feel a lot more free. Another thing that they changed was rotations. I know a lot of you didn't really like the way that they had pressure and timed and all that, and you wanted to be able to control your rotations a lot more. That's what the manual setting's for. So they went back to how it used to be back in the demo, so I can pop and then I can start to rotate midair. I'm gonna get something over the set, so I'm gonna pop and then I'm gonna rotate. So you can see I didn't even start the rotation until halfway through, and that's where I started the rotation. And you can notice right here, you actually feel like you have impact when you land. Also, in the older builds, if you hit that like that, you would bail. You no longer bail when you just tap something like that. So I'm gonna run into this curb. Boop. Nothing happened. So I'm gonna change this to pressure like I'm used to, and I'll show you the difference here. So I'm gonna pop, and then I'm gonna try to rotate, and that's as far as I get. So with the manual setting, you can do something like a back 180 and then shift it back. So we got the back one there, and we kind of shift it all the way back. This does give you a lot more control in your rotations, and I do personally like it a little bit better than pressure. There's also a new thing that they added. I'm gonna try to do it right here. If you late pop, it's not gonna work, and you're gonna jump off your board, just like you would in real life. You're not gonna pop midair. So I missed my pop here, and the board just kind of ditched me. But if you get the pop at the right time, obviously you're gonna make it over, or hit the stair if you don't go fast enough. So I popped it at the right time and I was able to keep the board with me. But if I miss the pop, it's not going anywhere. It's the same with grinds too, or slides. If you try to pop out late, you're not gonna be able to pop out late. I feel like you guys have seen this spot enough. Let's go to somewhere else. So for those who don't know, this is the expansion to the pyramid ledges. The pyramid ledges are over there in that direction. This is the whole new expansion. We got 4 times a bigger map now. So we got this whole area down here and a couple more spots down there. Got a couple of little stair sets in here. Bunch of rails and gaps and all that. Like, this gap is really fun to skate. I'll be making more videos with different spots, don't worry about that. I won't show them all in this video. So one of the first things that they mentioned was the sky. They changed the atmosphere, so now it's no longer the placeholder one. So let's show that off quickly with the day-night cycle. So you can change time of day, as you could before. Let's go to around 2 p.m. I'll also turn off the camera light. I'll get to that in a minute. So right here at 2 p.m., you can see it's really shady, but now you can actually change the sun angle. So let's change it to there. And you can brighten it up and still keep that same time of day. And if you want time of day to change during your gameplay automatically, you just set this to on. The atmosphere also adds fog and all that other stuff. So for the camera light, you can either have it always on, which will be like during the day, during night, or in dark areas. We'll change it to really late at night. So let's do 1 a.m. Sun angle doesn't matter, obviously. So with the camera light on, you can see the skater really well now. But if you have it off, I mean, you're not really gonna see too much. If you have this set to auto and you have this turned on at around 8 p.m., I think it is, that's when the camera light is gonna turn on. And then it should turn off somewhere around 6 or 7 a.m. So another new thing that they introduced is bail versus slam. So there's gonna be times where you either bail or you slam. So here it should just be like a basic bail, you just jump off your board. But they do plan to have different animations for bailing and slamming, so that's gonna be coming a lot later. There you go, I got a slam there. So I kind of tripped over my board and then fell on my face. So obviously I'm using a new skater that you guys haven't seen before. This is one of the new custom skaters. We'll go back to the apartment quickly and you'll see that we got 2 new custom skaters. We got this guy, we need to find a name for him. And we got this girl. Gotta find a name for her too. Right now I don't know why they don't have hair, but they'll probably have hair a little bit later. They probably just took the hair out for this build. And we got Jimmy here. And we also have the first pass of my skater. It's missing tattoos right now and the clothing and stuff like that. But I'm here. I am now in the game. You guys can use me if you use me. Keep in mind, in real life, I'm regular. My stance is regular, and you'll be able to customize me later on. But there I am. A lot of you have wanted to see my character in the game. I'm here. We also have 2 different Ribs Man. So here's one from the previous updates. And then here's the other one. So Ribsman actually heard about the new custom characters, and he said that he would like to have his character kind of changed up a little bit too, because Ribsman can be anybody. We still got Donovan Strain, we got Dane Berman in a new hoodie. He's goofy, keep him goofy. There's also some new brands. We got Fallen in the game. We got a bunch of shirts here and hoodies. We have Limited Run. They also have some boards too. We got a couple more shirts here. We got Satori. For shoes, we got S Shoes. And a big variety of them so far. We got a bunch of the Fallen ones. We got Chris Cole's Trooper. I mean, that'd be sick if Chris Cole is in this game. They already got his shoes. And they did say that Globe was also going to be in the game, but they don't have any shoes just yet. Also, the apartment got a little bit of a makeover. Just a tiny bit. It's still got rotten pizza over there, though. As you can tell, I've kind of worn this board out a little bit. So board wear and tear is in the game. I'll go over board wear and tear a little bit later. So we got a couple of new Zero decks. This one was supposed to be the Blood Drip, but in gold instead. We got this Zero, we got this one. I think they added a 725 because they thought that the board size that I ride was 725, but it's 7625. So it's closer to this or that. It's in between those. I think that was an oops on their part. They also have this completely unfinished board. Just like the game, the board is unfinished. So it's not carved. There's no grip tape. There's no graphic. So you can just skate a completely unfinished board. So they got a bunch of new Roger decks. So here's the one from the trailer. Well, the teaser. We got some limited run decks right here. This one's pretty cool. I like this one. They added some more heroine boards. There's also different board shapes, and I think they're going to be adding a lot more board shapes. We obviously have a bunch of deck rails that you guys have seen in teaser clips. We got the riser pads. I, in real life, actually use riser pads, not really thick ones, probably either an 1/8 or a 1/4. I'm pretty sure it's an 1/8 though. Now for trucks, this one right here got me so excited the first time I saw it. Destructo. I never thought that they would have Destructo in the game. Destructo's been my favorite truck since like 2004, and I've skated nothing but Destructo since then. Not sponsored by them, just love their trucks. So we got Destructo, and then we got some Grind King. We got some interesting ones too, because they included the Creepers, and I had those as a kid. I had the red ones of these, and everyone just called them Batman trucks. But they were so cool, they worked so well with my World Industry Road Rage board. And then we have these ones, the Spark trucks. I don't know if a lot of you remember these, but they added flint to trucks, and when you grinded, they sparked. And the devs said that this will work in the game just a little bit later on. So you'll be able to spark in grinds. We got some of the basic trucks here, and then we have different sizes of trucks, different width. So the max one is 169, and I think the smallest one is 129. So depending on what your board size is, you can match up your truck size. For wheels, we got a lot of wheels. So the smallest wheels in the game are 32 millimeters. These are marshmallowy. In Canada, we just called them marshmallow wheels. I don't know if anywhere else called them that, but we have a bunch of SML wheels. Bunch of these wheels too. Ooh, those green ones are nice. Ooh, the red ones too. And we got the classic ones. You can see the wear and tear on the wheels also. So on this side, there's not so much wear and tear on that wheel because I've done more tricks that involve this wheel touching something and that wheel. So this wheel somehow has avoided a lot of stuff. And all of your gear is now gonna affect your gameplay and your skating. So let's say I've got some, what's the biggest size wheels we got? I think 56 is the biggest size wheels we have right now. So if you have bigger wheels, you're gonna be going a lot faster and a lot smoother on rough ground. But if you have something like these wheels, you're not gonna be pushing as fast, you're not gonna be rolling as fast, and the ground's gonna be a lot more rough, so it will probably feel like you are pushing through sand. They're gonna add wheel hardness too, so if you have soft wheels, it's gonna be a lot smoother ride. If you have hard wheels, it's gonna be a little bit rougher, but you'll be able to slide further. So if you're doing something like a lip slide on a ledge, you'll slide a lot further. Or power slides, you'll slide a lot further. But if you have really soft wheels, you're not really gonna go far at all. Also, with the addition of wheel bite, the bigger your trucks, the more likely you are to get wheel bite and stop. I'm just gonna make a setup right now and demonstrate a couple of things. This video better not be so long. Okay, so I'm gonna set up some 56 millimeter wheels. Gonna go to gameplay, board settings, make sure wheel bite is enabled and wear and tear is on. Truck tightness, let's make it as loose as possible. So now we got some really loose trucks. And the faster you go, the harder it's gonna be to control. So like a very small touch of the trigger is gonna make you turn a lot faster. You get speed wobble too. I got word wobble. So the faster you go, you can get speed wobble if your trucks are really loose. So I'm gonna go quite fast here. Oh, speed wobble, and then turn hard. And you can see I slowed down because I got wheel bite. I'm gonna change the truck tightness to all the way tight. I'm gonna push. I'm pushing the triggers right now, and I'm barely moving. So like he's barely moving around, and I'm pushing it as hard as I can. I'm not getting wheel bite because the trucks are so tight, they're not touching the wheels. And you obviously don't get speed wobble here. So if I do a nose manual, move, you can see the truck's not even moving. Let's loosen this all the way up. So I loosened my trucks, and you can see that they're loose. Super loose, day one loose. And if you turn truck synchronization off, you can actually adjust your front truck to be like really tight and your back truck to be really loose. So let's see that in action. We got the back truck really loose. I'm gonna switch over to a manual. Do a little bit of turning here. Yeah, it is not wobbling much, but you can see that my back truck's wobbling a lot because obviously it's looser. I'm gonna go back to the apartment quickly. We're gonna change the wheels to the smallest possible wheels. While I'm here, I might as well put together a brand new deck and then show you the board wear and tear. I mean, that'll be good, right? I like this one. So truck tightness is as loose as it goes. Let's see if I can get some wheel bite on these wheels. Yeah, you can still get wheel bite with these wheels. But, let's add some riser pads. The thickest ones that they have, I think, are these ones right here. Now, much higher off the ground, much further away from the trucks, and I can make a much sharper turn now because my board, holy crap, because my board can turn the trucks a lot harder. Look at that, holy crap. Oh yeah, and the pool is open. So you can now skate the pool as requested. So I'm gonna mention this quickly while the board is still fresh. The board wear and tear for the scratches are only going to scratch in places that you've skated on them. So if I do a bunch of nose slides, nothing else on the board is gonna be scratched except for the nose. If I do a bunch of nose grinds, the trucks on the front are gonna be a lot scratched, are going to be scratched and the back ones aren't. And then same for the wheels. If I'm doing a back crook, the back left for regular wheel is gonna be scratched, like it's gonna have some wear on it. So I figured I would say that right now while this board is fresh, and let's get into a couple of grinds with this setup right here. So everything is physics based, and the grinds aren't just like a certain input. So right there, I did an input for a feeble, and you can see I did get into a feeble. Like, I got into a feeble, but I slipped off right near the end, and it still continued as a board slide. It even registered as a board slide. Pretty much what you're doing is you're trying to just align the board in the trick that you want. Like, damn, that was a pinched over crook. Whoa, and I got that pinched because I had such small wheels. Look at that. So right there, I was telling my front foot to put all the pressure down and my back foot wasn't doing anything. So you can see that the tightness of your trucks and your wheels definitely have an impact on your grinds, landing, everything. So if I had really tight trucks, no riser pads, and bigger wheels, I would not be getting that pinch. I'm gonna turn this synchronize on. I'm gonna change the truck tightness to full. So here's another backsmith with tight trucks. Oh, I just barely hung on to that one. But you can see that the truck is not giving whatsoever. It's too tight. It's not gonna bend. You can see for this one right here, I didn't get much of a pinch. One, because I'm more on the rail, and two, the trucks are really tight. So if the trucks were loose in this situation, I probably would have slid just slightly over to the left. Like starting to slide as I went. But since the trucks are so tight, they just stayed where they were. Another feature that's added to grinds is grind alignment. So increasing the value on this will increase the automatic alignment on grinds. So it does make grinds a lot easier to get into. So you're not gonna slip out as easily. So let's just go for like a backside nose grind there. If the alignment was completely off, and also if my trucks were really loose, I would have just slipped right off of that. Let's change this all the way down. And we'll do the same thing. We'll get a nose grind. And I slipped right off, and it said nose blunt, but don't pay attention to that. That's experimental. But you can see right here, I didn't actually lock in because one, my wheels are so small that they couldn't even grip on to the rail. Like they couldn't catch enough of that edge, so they slipped over, and then I just fell off. So I couldn't lock into the grind. And this is where your wheel size, your truck size, truck tightness, that is all gonna matter. Because if I had bigger wheels, I wouldn't have fell off like that. So right there, I was a lot more center on the rail, so I wasn't gonna fall off. I mean, over time, my body started to shift, and then it started to go this way, but by the time I got to that point, I was already on the ground. So in this situation, having really tight trucks helped a lot, because if I got to that point right there with loose trucks, I would have fell right off. This is also one of the first steps that they're doing to implement the grind balance system. Ooh, see, okay. That was actually a pretty good example here of the grinds not being locked in and nothing being a canned animation like a lot of people think. So I slipped completely off of that crook. And then I stayed on the nose because I had my pressure on the nose. And you can see the board was starting to dip down into a nose. So if you watch it fast, it's like one smooth motion. It's following the physics of it. So it's no longer balancing on the truck, it's now balancing on the nose. And then you start to fall down because you're not as high up as you would be if you were on the truck. But yeah, with the grind alignment, getting into grinds is a lot harder. But once you get used to it, it's very rewarding getting a trick. You can see my board's all scratched up now. Not so much on the tail because I haven't done anything on the tail. I've screwed up a little bit and landed in the middle. And I've been focusing a lot on the nose, so the nose is a lot more scratched up. So another thing with grinds and slides is when you pop out of something like a tail slide, it's not just gonna instantly like, you know, like go from here and then just pop straight up. What it's gonna do is it's gonna dip down like you would in real life and then pop up. So we'll go for a tail slide. That was a really bad tail slide, I'm sorry. But just for demonstration purposes. Also, don't worry, all the animations and stuff, like I know that looks broken right now, but eventually they will get fixed. They're not gonna leave it like that. So the main focus right now is on the board. So for the tail slide, you can see when I went to pop out, it's going to dip down a little bit. And just imagine the skater was a little bit further down. Don't worry. And then it's gonna go up so that you can actually get the pop out. So again, it's not just gonna go from here and then pop straight up without bending down first and popping up. If you're a skater, you know how that works. You always gotta do a little bit of a dip to pop out of your tricks. So obviously the same is gonna be for nose grinds and like every other trick that you have to actually pop out of. Another thing that they mentioned was when you do a wrong input, say I'm gonna go for a nose slide, but I end up landing in a board slide. and I don't have any pressure on my back foot, you're just gonna kind of fall over because you have all your pressure on one foot. So with casual grind mode off and auto grind mode off, say if I go for like a backside blunt with a no slide input, obviously I'm not gonna get it because there was no weight whatsoever on my back foot. I didn't tell the game, hey, apply pressure to this foot. But if I turn these on, boop and boop, let's get a back blunt with a nose slide input. I mean, obviously it dipped down because I put all my pressure on the nose, but the game still tried to give me a back blunt because it realized that it's on the rail. Like that part of the board is on the rail, so it knows, okay, I've got to adjust and, you know, try to give you the blunt. Only because it's on auto. While I'm here, I'm gonna mention the Darkslides. So Darkslides are now in the game, as most of you probably know. Now in this build, they're a little bit difficult to get, but the devs said that they're gonna fix it just a bit. So the way that you're gonna do it, I still have small wheels. The way that you're gonna do this is, once the board is upside down, you have to do an input to catch. So you're gonna do something like a lip slide or a board slide, depending on what you're going for. And while the board is upside down, you can catch it like that. Obviously, you're not going to be able to land it if it's like this. You're not sliding on anything. But as soon as I flicked it, I did an input to catch, and the board stops and does a dark catch. Now, yes, dark catch is in the game, but you're not going to be able to do like what you can in Skate 3 by flipping it back over, so no to that kind of thing. Once it's upside down and you caught, like, you're not going to be able to just like flip it back and land it and keep going. Another way that you can do the Darkslides is the Jeff Rowley way, where one foot is on the tail and the other foot is in the middle of the board instead. And to do that one, you do kind of like a Smith or a Feeble input. So instead of putting both sticks outwards or inwards, or, you know, up and down and all that stuff, you're gonna do like one down and the other one like slightly up, or one to the left and then the other one down. I'll make a whole video on how to do this, don't worry. This video is probably already long enough. Oh, I hopped with it. I'm still getting used to this, okay? Give me a break. There we go. So here you pop it, you catch. So right there I did both sticks inwards to do a front board. Then I use the back foot stick to flick it out. So like a heel flip, depending on what your settings are, if it's gonna be trick relative or not. For this one, I pressed down on the right stick and it flipped a heel flip out and then I caught the board. So this is just like the first pass of Darkslides. I imagine that the tricks are gonna be adjusted and like what you can and can't do out of them. So it kind of makes sense. So like not being able to pop off your nose or something like that. So another kind of dark slide you can do is like a dark 50-50, kind of like a Casper slide without your front. Yeah, see, dark 50-50 there. So it's like a Casper slide without your front foot being under the board. And you can do a dark 50-50 by inputting a 50-50, but just with the board upside down like that. You can also see the grip tape having wear and tear too. The one thing that they did mention is the board isn't going to be able to chip or like razor tail. So that's not in the immediate plans. I'm not sure if they'll be doing that in the future. They said it's a little bit challenging to get that specific thing, but board breaking will eventually be in the game. So you'll be able to break your board. For now, it's just the wheels, the trucks, and the deck that gets scratched up. I mean, hell, who knows? They'll probably add that kind of feature to the shoes. That's a must. I mean, if they're trying to keep it realistic. So while I make my way to one of the new additions, the skate shop, where your money now saves and you can buy a bunch of new stuff, like new boards and all that, I'm going to mention the legacy controls. So they did get a little bit of reworking. So in the previous builds with legacy controls, you weren't able to do stuff like a Feeble or Smith and stuff like that. But if you turn on casual grind mode and auto grind mode, so since the grinds are physics, all you have to do is angle the board the way that you would do a Smith or a Feeble. It's not saying it in the corner, but that's definitely a Feeble. But the devs said you should be able to do those things, and some of the tricks work a lot better now. See if I can get a 3-flip now. Okay, I can get a 3-flip still. Another thing I actually want to mention that was quickly touched on is boned ollies. If you do an ollie and push both sticks up, you can actually tweak out your feet to a real boned ollie. So they brought that back. That was in the Kickstarter demo. We were able to do that. And you can do that with other tricks too. So, all right there, I kind of stopped in a grate, but okay, that was a little bit of a better example. I caught the kickflip and I can bone it out. So we can do like mean heel flips. Sort of, not as awesome. But you still can do it. So the animation's not there yet for that trick, but at least we can do it now. Anyways, this is the skate shop, and the first time you ever arrive here when you load up the game, there's gonna be Donovan Strain standing here, and he's gonna give you a bunch of challenges to unlock the stuff in the store and gain money and whatnot. So when you first get this update, you're gonna have all the basic clothes and you're not gonna have everything in the shop. Everything is gonna be locked. So you're gonna have a blank board, a session hoodie, the camo pants, the basic shoes. You're also not gonna have everything in your inventory for the object dropper. Those are another thing that you have to get from Ribsman. So these are gonna be the quests, and they don't really wanna call them missions or quests. They don't wanna call them challenges either, so they're trying to think of a name for it. So if you have an idea for a name of like the quests that we can do, leave them in the comments and I'll pass them on to Creature. So yeah, let's go into the shop. You can see there's a bunch of boards on the wall, a bunch of used boards too. And right here is where you're gonna see all your stuff that you can buy. So you can buy all the stuff for the hat, but when you first load this in, like when you first get this update, none of these are gonna be here. I had to go and earn them by myself. Same goes with like pants and shoes and all that. You can buy your skate gear. So this is where all your skate gear is gonna be. And then you can buy all your ramps and stuff here. And then we actually have one new ramp. I don't know if I can tilt this in here, but it's a nice kicker. Here's the shoe wall. So I guess you can just go into here and pick what shoes you want to wear. I still want to wear these. So now that I mentioned quests, I'm going to go into skater logs, and then you can see quests, challenges, and stats. So if you have an active quest, it's going to show up in here and tell you what you need to do. Challenges is where your daily challenges are, your weekly ones, your historical ones. And there are a bunch of new historical ones. There's supposed to be like 30 new challenges in New York. And then there was obviously a bunch for one of the new places. We got Philly, and I'll show you that very soon. Got another word wobble there. So now that the money saves, your historical challenges got reset. So once you get this update, it's gonna reset and you're gonna have to do everything all over again. Now, stats is where you're gonna see all your stats for the game. So your cruising distance, your total play time. So for in this build, I've only played 6 hours and 47 minutes. That's not much, I haven't had much time. Then we got your flip trick stats. And then we have grinds and slides. So this is gonna tell you how many grinds and slides you've done. Another thing that was mentioned is the replay editor didn't like completely get overhauled. They just did a couple of bug fixes, so it doesn't crash as much. The TV in the apartment doesn't work still. But I think for one of the next updates, they're gonna do an overhaul of the replay editor. So that's coming. They're not just gonna leave it how it is, don't worry. The priority right now, the physics. I should really get bigger wheels. They also added more things to the radio station, so they added a little bit more of like rub-a-dub-dub reggae music. Somewhere around 25 songs. I can't play any of them now because, you know, copyright stuff. They've also added 12 new surface sounds, and the library has been doubled to 250 sounds for riding and grinds and slides and all that. They've also added different frictions, so everything is physics-based. So if I was to grind on this rail right here, it's gonna be a lot smoother than if I was to word wobble than if I was to try to grind on the curb, because cement doesn't slide as easily as metal does. So depending on the ground that you're riding on, like right now I'm slowing way down, it's kind of rough ground, or what you're grinding on. So if like a marble ledge or one of these ledges right here that aren't marble, you're not going to slide as far or grind as far. It's going to kind of stop quickly. Whoop. So yeah, that kind of stuff mixed with your board setup is really going to affect how you skate. I should also mention that forward flips have been re-added to the game, not like officially, but you used to only be able to do them on auto catch, and now you can do them on manual catch too. So if you do a scoop and then direction of the flick is up and left for regular, then you can get a more vertical looking varial. So if you scoop like a varial and then flick up and to the left if you're regular, and then obviously up and to the right if you're goofy, you're gonna get that kind of varial flip, which sort of looks like a forward flip. And you're actually able to do it heel flip way too, whoa. And you're actually able to do it the heel flip way too. Whoa, that was weird. It's pretty much just like a different way to do varial heels. Like a different style of them. A couple of other things that they mentioned about the character. They reworked the materials, and I'm not sure if you've noticed throughout this gameplay so far, but the shirt moves. So you can see the shirt moving in the wind, and it'll move faster depending on how fast you're going. So let's try to go really fast. You can see it's moving really fast, and then we're gonna slow down, and it's just barely moving. There's a little bit of wind. But yeah, the clothing is starting to take shape. Like it's starting to react to everything around it, which is a really nice touch. All right, so there's another big thing that they mentioned in this this live stream. Not only do they have a new map, a new city, we got Philadelphia. When you load up, you start down here, and we got a little escalator here. So not only do they have this in the game now, but they've got 3 new team members, and a lot of you in the modding community know them. Team Emu is now part of Crea-ture. So we got Ulamon, we got Monkhead, and we got Enoxy. Now part of Crea-ture, making maps for them, making content, just making things look beautiful. So this city right now is roughly the same size as the Brooklyn Banks map. I think it's actually a little bit small. Yeah, it's a little tiny bit smaller than the Banks, because I can kind of see all the borders, but it's eventually going to expand and get really big, just like Brooklyn Banks. So we got a lot of famous spots in here, with the fountain covered in trees right now. Let's go to the fountain. So I want to say a big congrats to Team Emu for being part of Crea-ture. They put in so much work. Like if you've played their Beatrice Park, they added NPCs, talking NPCs. They added like a whole phone system and like being able to change like time of day and like angle of sun. But yeah, they do amazing work, and I'm so glad to have them on the team. Like having them on the team is just a sign that this game is just going to get better. If you know Love Park, you know that in real life it doesn't say NAR. The reason for that is because of legal reasons, like using that logo and that design. So they had to kind of change it to NAR. I mean, it could be any 4-letter word they really want. They also have a Christmas tree because, you know, it's Christmas. Close to Christmas. If you don't want that Christmas tree though, you can go to experimental map layouts and change this to unloaded instead, and you won't have the Christmas scenario. So for this gap, I'm gonna do a 3 flip, but you can now do slow 3 flips. I think you could have actually done it in 0.0.0.5. So I'm gonna get a regular one, not slowed down here. We got a 3 flip there. That's just normal, basic 3 flip. To do a slow tray, I think over time this is going to change and you won't have to go to different gameplay setting to do it. You got to change your scoop input mode to small, and now you should be able to do it if you do a very, very slow scoop. So that tray flip was completely different. So there it is in its full speed. But yeah, you can slow down your tray flips, and then if we do, let's bone that out too. So let's do slow tray and then bone it. Oh, I didn't land it, but slow tray and then I boned it really late. If this was a bigger gap, like a higher up gap, that probably would have worked. But yeah, you get the idea. We can do different style of tricks. I won't be showing everything in this map in this video because it's probably really long right now. But I will be doing way more videos and live streams showing off different skate spots and all that. And for those that are wondering about the transition skating, so pumping and all that stuff, like mini ramp, stalls work a little bit easier now. Like they work a little bit better, but they actually haven't been like implemented into the game. Pumping will be a little bit later in development, not now. So when they do the rework for the transition stuff, that's when that's going to come. So not in this update, but in a future update, they definitely will be adding all the transitions. So mini ramp is going to be linked with like vert skating and grabs and all that stuff. We still got a long way to go in development, but knowing that they've got a little bit of a bigger team now. They were a team of 4, but now that they have Team Emu, they're a team of 7. So things are definitely going to start getting better in this game. So that's a quick summary of what went on in the stream. If you want to watch the full stream, I'll leave a link in the description. All right, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to keep up with any more session content, hit that subscribe button. But until next time, this is JL Nightmare, and you'll see me in the next video. I'm going to do switch tray. Boom.